copywriting tone, how to title your text for success. Welcome to the room, the marketing club. Successfully. I'm your host, Favour Obasi-ike, and I keep saying it like that because people are starting to say my name properly now, which is quite exciting. It's really nice, because sometimes when people hear it, it's like, what? Or when they see it or read it, because they don't really know how it's spelled, what it looks like. But, there's a way it's said, there's a way it's done, there's a way it's pronounced. And I'm just grateful that we can all share this amazing experience because I want to know your name too and how it's pronounced, how it's said. So thank you for hearing, listening, being here, and being part of today's room. There's something literally, if you look at this title today, there's so much I'm going to, like pick out from this title. Like you're going to look at this title so much that you've probably never looked at a title that long. That's what's going to happen in this room, in this discussion, in this episode, because I want you to also understand how to write better titles. Because you don't know what title works. And sometimes it's just a title. I've heard stories before how somebody changed the title of a book and the sales went up like crazy because the title changed. So there's so many stories we can go about saying, but I want to keep it to this room. So if you're here, you're connected, you want to, stay up, it's a blessed room. It's a Friday. Happy Friday, y'all. Thanks for listening. I've been doing a room every day from August 1st through August 9th. Like this has been something, I think the last time I did this was June. I think it was June, and I did it all month. I did I did a room every day all month. Yeah, from Monday to Friday. This time around, I'm doing a room all day for the first 12 days, and today is day 9. So I'm intentional about what I'm doing. And I'm happy that I'm doing it because some people are actually learning. Like people come back and tell me, hey, I love what you're talking about. I get emails, I get, messages, I get responses, I get referrals, and I'm happy because that's the whole point. I don't know what's gonna come because I'm giving it freely. So however I'm receiving it is because somebody cares about what they're giving to me because I'm giving it to them in a careful way too. If I care about you, you're gonna care about me. If you don't care about me, then that's a problem. If I don't care about you, that's a problem. But when we care about each other, we care about what we do. And that's why I'm here to help you title your text for success and focusing on copywriting tones because your tone matters. When you write, yes, SEO is great. That's what we do. We build websites, we break them down, we build them up, we audit them. We go through the whole 9, right? And I actually want to invite you to my podcast. My podcast is called We Don't Play because I know a lot of people don't know the podcast, but at the same time, a lot of people know the podcast. So I can't assume that everybody knows the podcast, even though we're top 3% globally, and it's going to be 5 years on Monday with 400 episodes. Everybody still gets to find out something new. So I don't just say, oh, podcast, we don't know. Yeah, we do because there are podcasts out there. And if you love podcasting, if you love listening to stories, good information, people, connections, questions, experiences, yeah, this is the time to definitely be listening to the We Don't Play podcast show. So click the link above and it will take you there. So why are we talking about this title today? I'm actually going to tell you about a tool, right? And I'll talk about this tool because what we're going to do today, we're going to do an exercise. If you have a website, if you have a blog, if you have a podcast title, you're going to put the title in the chat. Whatever that name of the title is, whatever the title of the blog is, the newsletter, the email, the podcast, whatever you titled, your book, your song, whatever it is, we're going to look at it a little differently because I want you to see I'm actually going to do it like this. Hold on. I'm going to put it in here. Give me a second. My goal in today's room is to help you see things a little differently from how you normally see things in titles. Because when you look at your titles, right? Your titles make, like, it's what grabs you into the room. Like right now you're in this room because you probably read the title and the title makes sense, and now you want to understand, what about this title can I learn, and what can I use it for, and where can I use it properly? So that's why you're here. That's the whole point of a title. If I said something else in this title, but I was saying the same thing right now, you probably wouldn't be in this room. You probably wouldn't be listening to this podcast because the title threw you off. But this title brought you in. It made you click. It made you scroll. It made you listen. It made you find out. So that's where having a good title comes into play, because titles produce titles, if that makes sense. Titles, like title deeds, it gives you, if you think about a title deed, you think about real estate online, you think about intellectual property. If you think about, value, if you think about substance, if you think about content versus context, I've talked about that before. These things would be the best things that you could ever have for your business online, because people love to click on things that make sense and that actually have understanding. So there's a platform called capitalizemytitle.com. And there's a section that talks about the headline analyzer. I've talked about this tool before. It's a free tool. You guys can use it. If you've never heard of it before, check it out and let me know what you think. It's also in the podcast too. So if you listen to some of our podcast episodes, I think the last 20, because we have a lot, maybe the last 20, you should see the link there, and if you want to go a step further, you can just go to capitalizemytitle.com and you'll see it there. Now, I'm going to actually show you the score of this title so that you can actually see the score, because there's a difference between looking at something, watching it, seeing how it is, and then at the same time trying to understand, okay, this is the score. Okay. If this is the score, how do you get to this score? And this is the average score. It's not just the only score, it's the average score. And the score is broken down into three parts. It's broken down into readability score, SEO score, and sentiment score. Hey, Julie, I love the ring around your profile. It's so cool. And then I'm in dark mode, on Clubhouse, so it looks so cool. Thanks for being here, Julie. Appreciate you for being here in the room. We have the Hey, Julie, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Fave. Happy to be here.
Thanks for being here, Julie. Your profile picture is beautiful. It just has this new ring around it.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Inspired by your picture, profile picture.
No way.
Yeah, just standing out a little color to it.
Oh, that is nice, Julie. Yeah, you can definitely see it's popping. It's good.
Thank you. It's poppin'. Everybody share
Hey,
this room because Favor is amazing.
thank you, Julie. I appreciate you. This room is a room that I think a lot of people would want to listen to, because it's not just, you're not just looking at your content, you're looking at the title. And Julie, I think I would love to hear from you too, because you're big on titles. Like, it's not even like, it's even before the body text, before the forward, before the credits, before the citations. Like, there's that title has to hit. So maybe I could start off with that before I get even deeper into the score that I was about to talk about and ask you so that people can also kind of have some context to it. Let them know who you are and as well, and then just give them a little bit of a taste on how important titles are for successful readability and also engagement.
Are we talking titles for podcasts or titles for what?
Just in general, because if I box it into one, it may just be like, okay, then somebody wouldn't want to do it for the next one. So I wanted to keep it open ended so that if they're like writing an email, a blog, a newsletter, a podcast, a book, they have to keep some fundamental things in mind.
I've learned the hard way, okay, for all of the above, because I get really creative, and so if you're doing a post, a show, a book, you know, I would just try to get as creative as I could with the title, but nobody searches creativity. Understand your audience and understand what their pain points are, and then nuance that into something they would search. Was that helpful, Favor?
Yeah,
Hey,
totally.
Booby.
Totally.
Amanda, yeah, was here.
Amanda, happy Friday.
Hey, hey, happy Friday. I love this conversation, and if I can comment on what was just said, for my show, Julie, I often, I'm such a creative bug. Not to toot my own horn, but if you check out my Instagram, it's
Toot
kind of
toot,
cool.
toot
Um,
toot. You
but
are creative.
I love playing with words, and one of the things that I discovered, especially when it comes to my show, my podcast, and putting a title out there is a lot of the titles that I was putting, with creativity, with maybe a little bit of trying to have like shock value or to bait someone to come in. It actually had the opposite effect, and my numbers were low until I went back and worked with my team. And they're like, let's change this to this and make it more direct and more to the point so that people know what they're getting when they come in. And lo and behold, wouldn't you know, my numbers went up. So, sometimes it does pay to just be direct and to the point so that your audience knows what they're getting.
Boom. Boom, Booby.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I love that. It's like what they read is what they get. When you think about clickbait titles on YouTube, on, Reddit, go to Facebook, TikTok, news sites, you can see like the titles, like even when you go to Google and you see the titles there, what makes you click on that one title over the other titles that you see? Because there's a sea of titles. There is a cluster of titles. There is a numerical value that is to infinity and beyond with titles that you can click on online. But why did you click that one? Because there's a difference between just clicking a title and also clicking a title with an expectation. And that's where that content and context comes in. I've said like content is king, context is queen. And when the two connect together and they build, there's a semantically, I can say, indexed or aligned structure that when they connect with you at a faster level, there's more engagement, there's more trust, there's more readability, there's more SEO, there's more sentimental value, because those are the three top things you need to get a high title for success. And when I look at it from an SEO standpoint, I want to also, give you an idea of how to even do this as well for yourself. So I'm going to put this link in the chat. There we go. So I put the link in the chat. That link you see in the chat, you can use this link. It's free. Check it out. And I've talked about this. I've actually had a room on this. So this is something that would be really good for you to check out and see how it can play into your business, how it can play into your roles, how it can play into your titling. And when you're looking at this link, try to get a score that's anywhere between six. I won't even say 60 because that's really low. Like 75 and up. Like just score 75 and up. You can score 60 and up, but once it hits green, then that's a good thing. But you want to have green on all three. You know why? Because when you have green on all three, it means that you can actually grab more attention. And this is what I mean. When you look at this link, it talks about three different things: readability score, SEO score, and sentiment score. The readability score, and I'm going to read what it says on screen so that you can also see it too. You have to think about your build up. You have to think about how people are reading and what they're reading and for what reason they're reading it. So when you look at the readability score, it says that creating titles with high readability means your title and article are likely to appeal to a wider audience and will require less brain power. That's a key phrase there. Less brain power for people to understand. And then they give a really good example. If you're writing a kid's book at a PhD level, you're probably doing something wrong. In contrast, if you try to title your dissertation after a children's book, you're likely not going to get too many citations for that. So you have to aim for a readability score that makes sense for your audience. And then if you've never heard of this before, there's an actual readability standard score or test. It's called Fleschkt Kinade. It's like, I think it's German. And it looks like German. It should be German. And it's a readability test that's designed to indicate how difficult a passage in English is to understand. And there are two tests. There's a reading ease test and there's a grade level test. So those two tests correlate approximately inversely, right? And it's because a text with a comparatively high score on a reading ease should have a lower score on a grade level. It's very like twisted, but the whole point of this is you have to write titles that make sense. It has to make sense semantically, it has to make sense sentimentally, and it has to make sense with SEO. Those are the three things with search based, organization. So before I go any further, I just wanted to welcome you, John, and Liverpool's finest. Thank you for being in the room. Happy Friday. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Favour. I am doing very, very well. I hope you are great. Well, too. Yeah, hi everybody as well.
Good Friday to everyone. Hi, this is Uncle John, and I'm multitasking, pulling a Julie Loken, but I'm listening and looking forward to your conversation. Thanks, to Favor.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Julie, go ahead. Why are you laughing?
Oh, pulling a Julie Logan could be good or bad, not quite sure. LOL.
I think it's more good than bad. Right, John?
Look, it's a lot more. It's a lot more good than bad. So, Julie, the one negative I give her, she doesn't tell people enough about what she does. So, when I say I'm multitasking, trying to make Julie Loken, trust me, that's a compliment.
Thanks, Uncle John. Let's give Uncle John a round of applause. Hey guys, come on up if you want to share and share the room.
Hey, Uncle John. And I agree with Uncle John as well when it comes to Julie.
Wow, thank you. I'm gonna cry.
We appreciate you, Uncle John. Yeah, it's always great to have you here in the room. Amazing, guys. I hope you're learning something. I really hope you're learning something from this, today, because we think about titles and we have to appeal to a lot of people at the same time. So how are we going to appeal to the same people over time? That's something that we have to look at. And when you look at this readability score I talked about, it's a reading E score. and it's an indication of how easy a selection of text is to read. So when you think about Google, right? Google always gives you selections of text to read. It never gives you the full picture, right? For example, you go to Google, you type in something, it tells you, okay, we have this restaurant, we have this restaurant, we have this restaurant, we have this mechanic store, we have this hotel, we have this airport, we have this flight, this the price of the flight, we have this, like it tells you everything. It's a selection of text. It's not the full text. If you look at the people also ask section, you see a little text. You click on it, it pulls down a little text. It doesn't even give you the full text till you click through the text to get to the full text. So when you look at all the text in between the text, the context allows you to read through it and then understand, what am I looking for? And then when you find what you're looking for, then you click through to it. And usually when you look at words, there are two types of words. There are common words and weasel words, right? And why I'm giving you guys this link so you can see it, I also want to give you more context to it so that you can see what I scored for this title, for this room, so you can see how you can also do it too. Now, there are four common words in this title. There's copyright tone, which is the content, and then there's how to title your text for success, which is the context. So I'm looking at the contextual part, the second part. When you look at these seven words have four out of seven of these words are common words. Who would like to guess those four words? You can put in the chat.
Say that again. Can you rephrase that, please?
So how to title your text for success has common words in them. And out of these seven words, how to title your text for success, four out of those words are common words. Which four words are those?
I'm going to take a big wild guess, and I'm going to assume how to for success. I'm assuming those would be the popular word.
Ooh, okay, okay. Before I give the answer, okay, anyone else want to try?
Can you give us a hint, Favor?
Hmm. Uh, okay. Okay, I'll give you one of the I'll give you one of the responses that I got here. In the common word section, and I'm reading it off my title because I did this title and I got a result score. So it says common words, and I hope this helps. Common words make up the foundation of great headlines, and it should take up to 20 to 30% of your headline words. That's why it takes about 4 out of 7 of my words. So I don't know if that helps, Joey.
Amanda, I'm passing the mic to you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I was arguing with my child as to what she's wearing today, but if you could repeat the
No
question.
problem. So I was saying that in this title, in this title, how to title your text for success, I'm looking for four common words that are used in this 7-word title. Do you know which four words these are?
Ooh. Common words would be, let me think. How to, is that two of them?
Top tips.
And success. I'm not sure.
Hmm. You know what? I'm going to make this interesting because we haven't gotten all four yet, but we're getting there. And then I also see Crystal had how titles text success. Okay. Okay. And then Liverpool's is how to for success. And then Amanda's was how to And then did you say tech success as well? Or did you say for
For
success?
how to for success.
How to
That would
for
be the four, I
success.
would think.
Okay. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do something that I've not done before. Whoever gets all these four right, I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna get your email today, and I'm being nice. I'm gonna get your email today, and I'll send you a hotel voucher. That's
Wait,
gonna be
what?
yes, because I'm serious. A hotel voucher is going to be 4 days. You choose anywhere in the world. All you got to do is pay your flight, pay what you got to pay for, but your hotel, your accommodation, you're gonna spend 4 days, courtesy of work and play entertainment. So I need four common words out of this title. Whoever gets it all right, I can wait because I wanted to get this. I didn't plan to do this, but I felt like, yeah, I've been on Clubhouse daily for from 30 minutes to 3 hour rooms. And I'm gonna do a 5 hour room on Monday to celebrate 5 years podcasting. So I don't know which 5 hours those are gonna be. I might have to do a poll or some type of study or understanding because everybody's everywhere. So I might do it in the morning so that it's bright and early. I don't know. We'll see. But for this room, I want to get the winner. Title test for success. Okay, not yet. Huh. If
What
I
about
can,
top tips, like tips for success? Ti- Something
top
like that.
tip out of the no,
Close.
because this, I'm trying to close, close. So let's look at this title, guys, at the top. And I've said in the beginning of this room, you guys you've never seen a title this long, and you're probably gonna keep looking at this title for a while. That because the goal is to get you to see this title so that you can also create successful titles for yourself. How to text success? Not yet. Not yet. Copywriting tone. Don't think about that copywriting tone. That's context. That's content because we're talking about tones here, right? That's content, that's information. The contextual part of this topic is how to title your text for success. Then there's an emoji there too. So that emoji also brings something sentimental into the topic, but I'm only focusing on the words, those 7 words towards the end after the colon. So should we just, roll this over and move on? I'm sticking to how to for
Wait,
success.
I'm very competitive and I want to win the hotel
Sticking to my
voucher.
answer. No, yeah,
Yeah.
I am too. I am too, and I'm sticking to my answer.
She's
I'm
sticking
sticking
to
to
it.
mine as well. I'm
Sticking to
sticking
it.
to mine because I can't think of anything else at all. Th-
This is a serious one. I know it's Friday. I'd love to know. Uncle John, do you want to try?
As I said earlier, I'm pulling a Julie Loken. I
Dang.
am.
Maybe you're going to win with those
Yeah,
words.
I'm multitasking. So I just wrote a blog article for Breakfast of Champions. I'm now working on a newsbreak article in a Medium one. So I would say I got nothing for you.
John, you could get a free hotel room though.
How about if I win and I'll give it a hotel ticket to Julie or Amanda since you guys are ultra competitive. I'm not.
Thank you,
Thank
Uncle
you.
John. Guys, come on up to stage. This is great. Did you hear what Favor is offering today? Like, let's do this.
I know,
It's amazing.
seriously.
Like, this is not a drill, guys. This is for real.
I'm
This
booking
is
my
for
flight now. I'm
real.
booking my flight right now.
Huh. Wow. The room is getting bigger. Let me say this again because I want someone to win this. Thank you for joining the room. This is a marketing club, and we're talking about how to title your text for success. In these 7 words that I've just said, in quote, how to title your text for success, 4 out of these 7 words are common words, and common words make up the foundation of great titles, great headlines. And these normally take up to 20 to 30% of your headlines words. So I've taken 20 to 30% of the words. So, and think about it like credit. When Spend less than 30%, 6%. The lower it is, the better. So if you're spending 20 to 30% and not over that, then you're not over expanding or over analyzing. You're giving people the right dose, it's the right amount. You still have enough to keep, still enough to give. You have a good balance. So let's see how to title text. No. Common words, common words. If you get this right, you're gonna get a hotel voucher from me. I'll ask you for your email. You can either DM it to me. I'll put my contact card up here so you can text it to me. However you want to do it. We'll make it happen. And after this room closes, if you win, you will get this email. Wow, this is interesting. If I move on from this, then I'll give the 4.
What about SEO?
No, because the words are, and I love this. I love what we're doing because I really want us to get this. The SEO piece is in the search bracket, and when people are searching for things, they're common words people use to search all the time, and you have to think about those things that can create those experiences for you. So when you create those experiences, it builds out for your long-term success. When you actually use those common words outside the SEO value, it's just semantic words. So we have a winner. D
Who?
Chiz. D Chiz wrote it in the chat. How
Oh my
to
gosh, that's amazing.
your I gotta give her a
Can she
follow
come
and
up
I'm
here?
gonna bring here. I just invited her to speak. Let's see if she comes up. D, we got. Oh wow, D, welcome to the room. First of all, congratulations.
Yay!
I'm
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
excited.
Where are we
D,
going,
talk
D?
to
Where are
us.
we going?
D, don't be shy. You can unmute your mic. It's bottom right corner. She might be busy.
She's probably still jumping up and down.
Okay.
She's not too
Okay.
busy to win the prize.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so new to this. And yesterday was 888. So I'm feeling lucky still in the portal. So my mind is like really moving fast. Haven't even planned my trip. But when I see those words, what came to me was how to what? For how to what? Your what? For what? So you just fill in the blanks. I mean, am I thinking correctly? That's what
You're
came to me.
you're smart, D.
Oh
That's
my God.
that
Thank you
is
so much.
yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Please send me a message. Actually, I'm gonna put my business card up here so that
Okay.
you can connect with me, and then definitely I can even take you through the whole process, and then you'll get an email from me today right after this. Yeah, boom. So use that link and then put your name, email, phone number. I'll exchange it with you. You get mine, and then I'll email you the link. And then from there, I'll just give you the whole process. And then whenever you go, make sure you tell us where you go because you can go anywhere in the world. You have to
Okay.
choose a location. Yeah, and just you'll see it from the map. And then yeah, I'm
Come to
so excited for you.
Chicago. Visit me.
I'm so okay. I have to get my glasses. I can't see to fill out the form. I'm so excited. Thank you so much. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you, Dee. Tell us about you and your business because I think I'm seeing like, are you in business? What's happening? Just tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, yeah. So I have a lot going on. I'm like, where do I begin? My life is in a whirlwind right now. So, okay, long story short, as they say, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It metastasized into my lungs. It made it difficult for me to work my full-time job last year. So I got terminated in January, gave corporate America 25 years of my life. And now I'm saying no more. I'm going to, if I'm in my last days, Lord forbid, because I'm fighting, what would I do? I would start my own business. I would be an entrepreneur. I would be creative. I would, go with the flow, follow my heart, as they say. So I have two businesses. I have a men's line, which is called Dowood. It's DUUWWUUD. and that's to cater to men. And then I have a women's line, which is my name is Dewayla. It says D here, but it's Dewayla. So my women's line is a boutique selling nothing but dresses, and that's called Dewayla May's Boutique. um, and that's again selling nothing but dresses. And I also mentioned my men's line, but that's my masculine side, so I'm being creative from my masculine side and my feminine side. And yeah, so that pretty much sums it up in a nutshell.
Uh, before I even say anything, does anyone want to say anything to D? This is just a beautiful moment. Wow.
It really is, and I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna do it.
I don't think anyone else deserves this more than Dee. That's an amazing story, and I'm trying to find her on IG to follow her. But I love what you do. I love consignment recycled goods because you're saving
Oh,
people.
that's another venture that I want to tap into, selling resale clothes. But everything, as you notice, is stems from clothes. So clothes, it makes me feel a certain kind of way.
See, I love that so much. And I just want to say congratulations. It could not have gone to a better person. I'm so happy, and I hope you enjoy wherever you are going. I have a show, a podcast, and I would love to spotlight what it is that you do and your brand. So if you have like an email or something that you could, or if, social media, if you want to pop it in the chat or direct message it to me on my socials are linked in my profile, and we can chat.
Absolutely. Okay, let's see how this works.
Same
Okay,
thing here.
and I'm new with this. Okay.
I just followed you on Instagram. What is it? Hang on, I gotta. It is put it on repeat with a lot of underscores. Totally following you, and you're amazing.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Okay.
This is a beautiful moment. Wow. Prayers, love, light, strength to you. I've taken a screenshot. So I'll definitely connect, and also please connect with me above as well. And yeah, that's deep. You know, when I was, doing this room, I started this room, I was like, which room title? Because anytime, let me just tell you my process so you guys can also kind of see what I do behind the scenes. Before this room started, I went into my notes because I remember mentioning some time back. I think I've said it a couple times this week already that I created a 2024-2025 list while having a 3-hour flight, and I read through 30 pages of text, and I was able to create the strategy for 2025. 2024 ending, 2025 full. So I I was able to do that, and then from there I would come. Do you got a hot mic? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, you're fine. So when I look at my text, I look at the title, I'm like, which one should I do? Like it's like an eeny miny mo moment. And when I looked at this title on my list, I said, it's a Friday. It's not SEO heavy. This is for everyone. And it would be nice to, get some more context so I can also hear people's processes. And then at the same time, I've always been thinking like I want to do a giveaway. I want to do something to give back. So I didn't know what to do, and I wasn't thinking of the doing. I was just thinking of the process. Like, can it flow? Can it just be part of what we're doing? It doesn't have to be too bad. It's natural. And these are the things that I thought about that we have to look at from the bigger picture. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll use this title. And then if anything happens today, and I came up with this question about the common words, and now Dee has a trip. She's going to be going to somewhere, wherever she picks in the world to go to, and I didn't know who was going to win. I almost like just said, all right, moving on. And then the room got bigger, and then boom. So the whole idea of this is, and I think this is a practical example to show that Even if you're the only person in the room talking, don't give up. Don't just, you know, throw in the towel because nobody's listening. Somebody will listen and somebody will benefit, because the more you're able to give more people your time, the more time you're able to get back because people pour back into you. There's that law of reciprocity that is even beyond the norm, because we have to give. That's why I'm here giving you time. I can't give you, like, time is so invaluable. It's so like priceless. It's so, you can't measure it. It's immeasurable, right? So when you're giving your time to something that you love, someone you love, communities you love, like Clubhouse, like, Chatter, like LinkedIn, like Google, like Pinterest, like TikTok, wherever we go, right? These are all great platforms that we spend time, and we love them because we actually learn from them, right? I didn't know I was going to give a title today. I was going to give someone this today, but we've been doing it as a business. When you sign up with us as a business and we work with you, you pick one of the packages. We have 4 options. You say, okay, let's go for 3 months. And within those 3 months, you can take a break and then, take a flight, go somewhere and come back and let's work again. Because there's a balance, right? Even in the Bible, it says there's a time for everything. Ecclesiastes 3, there's a time for everything under the sun. So there's a time to work, there's a time to play, there's a time to eat, there's a time to invest, there's a time to sow, there's a time to put in the work. So the title is the work. The text is what you're bringing to the work, as far as what you're connecting with. And then the success is based on the outcome of the work. So when you look at the income and the outcome, those two values have to create an equilibrium. You have to think about those things from a long-term perspective so that you can actually see the value of what you're doing. So this room is specifically for helping you understand how to balance your common words, how to balance your whistle words. And I didn't have any whistle words in this title, but they're whistle words, and I'll tell you what whistle words are. So when you think about how you say those things, when you say them, even SEO wise, it makes sense. Because if I just wrote here how to title your text for success, someone would be like, okay, fine, but I wrote their copywriting tone. So that changes the mood. So you've read that first, there's a preset. Now there's a title, that's a set. So when you think about the preset and you think about the set, you think about the content and you think about the context. So when you connect the two together, the two actually make sense logically, they make sense emotionally, and they make sense psychologically, right? And somebody talked about it. I think it was Hidden. He talked about it. Yeah, it was Hidden that said it. Shout out to him. In one of the rooms we had in this, 12 days of Christmas, uh, topping it off with the 5-hour room on Monday, for the podcast, is he said psychological is you take off the psycho and you still have logical. So there's still psycho in the logic. There's still a psychology in the logic. So when you connect the logic to the emotional value and then you have a psychological overview, then it makes sense to the person reading it because it's understood, right? When I talked about the readability score, right? The score grades from 0 to 100. You're supposed to aim for 60 to 100, right? Making your headlines easy to read in an email, a book, a podcast, a blog, a newsletter, a caption, whatever. Making your headlines easy to read is important so that they can be what? Understood. The reason why it needs to be understood by the person reading it is because you want to get a reward. What's that social currency in reward? I've read your title for 10 seconds. I've clicked on your title within 3 seconds. Now I'm on your page for 2 minutes. That's an exchange in time, right? So it's not even an exchange in currency. It's an exchange in time, because the time that the person is spending on your site is so much. Like yesterday, I talked about the SEO quadrant, right? How to think about the quadrant, the on page, the off page, the technical, and the content SEO pieces, and like how to build your house online, right? That's what I was talking about yesterday. When I woke up this morning, I think somebody I think it was in the UK or in China, one of the two. Like I just see random countries, and that person spent about 2 hours just on that one page, just reading. It was a very short page, but it was a lot to give because in there I put in the podcast. And when I look at my analytics, I see that a lot of people that listen to the podcast are on Apple. Why? Because I embed my Apple link, my Apple podcast viewer. You know how people do like with Spotify? There's one with Apple where it just you paste it there and it just loads up automatically. So even if you have a new podcast and you go to an article in 2021, you'll still see the latest episode because it's in a frame, it's an iframe. So I always make sure that my podcast is there. Well, I'm doing it for two reasons. One, so that if you bump into my article and you're reading it, you have a surprise element that, oh, okay, I'm reading this article, but guess what? There's a podcast. So that also creates that element of surprise. So that person wants to stay like, oh, there's a podcast. Okay. I'm a first time reader. I'm a first time visitor. I don't know who this person is. I'm reading because I searched for something I'm looking for and I spent time reading the title. And because I like this title, I clicked on the title. Now I'm in the room. I'm in the page. I'm on this person's website. What next? That's the next thing that needs to start happening. What next? So the next thing that needs to happen is the person has to read the title. And most times when people read articles, they scroll all the way down to the bottom and then they scroll back up. So they kind of do a preset. I talked about the preset and the set. So psychologically, on the preset, they want to scroll down and say, okay, how much do I have to scroll down? Like even a YouTube video, a podcast episode, if I say, okay, I look at the timestamp before I click play, is because I've created a preset. I know, okay, this is 30 minutes. I can listen to it for 30 minutes. I have a 45-minute drive. I can spend 30 minutes on the phone. Or I can spend 30 minutes listening to a podcast and 15 minutes on the phone, or whatever the case may be, right? You just schedule it within your own time and your own parameters. So when you know how much time somebody's taking to go from point A to B, and you've done your audience segmentation, you've done your SEO, you've done your research, you know that, okay, this person that lives in this zip code spends about 20 minutes to work, or an hour to work, or an hour to go wherever they need to go. And you're looking at the circumference, you're looking at the radius, then you're able to know, okay, I'm going to drop in a 5-minute read. I'm going to drop a 15-minute episode. That's a 20-minute watch time or reading time or overall time that I can now spend with this one person times the number of people that come in per day. So when you look at it from Sunday to Saturday and you look at the cycle and you get to see which day of the week do people like to spend time with my content, what time of the day do they want to spend time on my content? That's where email marketing comes in because it's good. I've talked about it earlier this week. There's zero party data, there's first party data, there's second party data, and there's third party data. If you want to know how your audience responds back to you so that you can write the right titles, you need to have first party data. And that is your email list. And you have to have a good email list, a good email sequence, a good email workflow, a good email layout, and a good email branding operational service, right? Because you have to look at those numbers. And when you look at the score, that score is going to be determined by how well you understand your audience. Because we talk about SEO, right? And we love SEO. Some people know it, some people don't know it, but the truth is we all do it because we're all searching. We're all looking for something. We're all going to click on something today. We probably clicked on something already. We're probably going to save something on Pinterest. We're going to probably save on something on Instagram, save something on TikTok, save something on LinkedIn. That save feature is so important. Even LinkedIn created a save feature because they know the importance of saving things. Clubhouse, you can save this replay. There's a reason why these things are done. There's a semantical reason why these things are done because it's not just SEO. Yeah, we can paint it SEO, but it's logic, it's emotion. That's the fundamental factor. If I like this title, if I like this movie, now like this Deadpool and was it Wolverine? And I think I read somewhere where they said now Deadpool and Spider-Man, they're trying to do something like that. Don't quote me. Just, do your research. I saw that in passing on Instagram and I was like, oh, that would be nice. If that actually happens, that would be cool. Right. So those are things you see because there's research done, right? There's analytics done. There are things that are also processed. So when you look at these things with your titles, You're like, oh, look at that. I just said something. That would be cool. It may never happen. It might just happen, but that's a thought. It's in the ideation phase, right? So if it gets from the ideation phase to the execution phase, then it means it's been processed through. So for your title to have success all round, all through, you have to think about what you're telling people and how they're receiving it, right? There are common words and there are weasel words. The weasel words, right, are words that don't fully convey the meaning you intend, and you should limit your usage of weasel words as much as possible. So, when you hear weasel, like, what's the name of that cartoon that had a weasel in it? Can't remember. But you get my point. Like, you think about like the whole picture, right? If you're just doing anything, you're not fully conveying the message, you're wasting someone's time because now they're trying to read the title, but the title is not titling. If I can say it like that, you have to make sure the title makes sense, sense, and you have to make sure your title makes sense, cents, because those two will contribute to impressions. When we say data equals dollars, or is the new oil, or it has something to do with your success, when you can't read that second party data, that first party data, that zero party data, or that third party data, then you can't understand those concepts because you can't go through them. So you have to make sure you have a lot of common words, because the common words allow you to become, when you hear common, right? Common is, I would say commonality, of course, but it's a resemblance, it's a familiarity, it's a community, it's the same, it's a tribe, right? If we say, hey girl boss, like there's a community that says that, right? Because that is a common word that is said. How to tie a tie, how to bake cake, how to what this, your best this for that. All these words are common words, right? But here's also the caveat. This is so good. I'm about to take you to the SEO section of this because there are three parts. The caveat with using common words is that if you use the same common words, and please take note of this because this is a very key factor, because the more common something is, the more ambiguous something is, right? In retrospect, when you look at common words, right? Common words are common because they're said repetitively, right? Now, the caveat here is if you use common words like how, to, your, and for example, in this title, and you put that in your URL, your uniform resource locator, what happens after that is that you have created an ambiguous title in your directory. It's like going to a library. I like to give very simple examples because SEO is not hard. I like to make sure it's very understandable across. It's like going to a library. If you go to the library and you go, let's say, to the A section, and you say, okay, I want to read books that start with A. When you go down the A aisle, it starts to go from A to AA to AB to AC to AD, and then let's say you get to AZ, it starts from AAA, AAB. You know where I'm going, like with the logic, like how it's just created the formula, the binary code, right? When you have that commonality, you get to those places, you can pick out that book, right? But what's going to make you go to the B section and not the C section or the D section is because you're going to the B section because you want to learn about business. So the word business starts with the letter B. So that's what keeps you within the B aisle. So if you have a business and your business doesn't have business content with the word business inside your URL, then there's a problem somewhere, because you also need to talk about your business, right, in the About Us section. So you need to talk about your business in text. It has to be there. HTML formats, hypertext markup language, it has to be there. Your business should have articles that should also have the word business, like business strategies or business that, there's things that you should put in there, right? That should complement your business, because you have a website, but your website has nothing to say business in it. So you have a URL talking about food, travel, finance, real estate, whatever it is, but there's no business attached to it because, one, there's no text. You may not have even put certificates on there. You've not uploaded PDFs. There's a lot of things. I don't even want to go down the rabbit hole. But the point here is, if you put those words into your URLs, they are now called stop words. So they turn from common words to stop words. And what is a stop word? A stop word means, if I'm saying, uh, I'm trying to give a word, I'm trying to give a word, I'm trying to give a word. Let's say, I'm trying to think. Okay, let me make it simple. Social media tips for real estate owners or businesses. Social media for food and restaurants, social media for bloggers, social media for hotels, social media for airports, social media for, the list goes on, right? When you have that phrasing, that for stops the next thing. So if you have that for in your URL, then you're stopping the algorithm, you're stopping the bots, you're stopping the people, from going further. Like if you're on LinkedIn, for example, and you have a newsletter, there's a section before you publish the newsletter that allows you to edit the URL. And most times people just proceed and publish. But I go a step further and I would go and change or create a URL in there. And if you notice, if you generate the URL, LinkedIn already does it for you, but you need to generate it too. I mean, you can go ahead and publish, but it's always good to just make sure you're triple checking everything, right? It's just good for data, because you don't want to go back and edit the same thing you would have had time to edit before you published it. So when you go to the section that talks about the edits, when you write a title on your LinkedIn newsletter, that title will have some stop words for sure. Like it will have some common words for sure, but make sure the common words stay in the title, in the headline, and the stop words do not show up in the URL. That's the key. That's the it's like a thin line between those two. So those are two things that you have to look out for, so that when you're now posting content, your content is actually connected. So instead of doing social media for real estate owners or social media for bloggers, it will be in the URL, your website.com/blog/ or post slash or whatever is in that pathway slash social dash media dash hotels. The for is not in the dash, or it's not within the pathway, because if I put a for there, then anything before and after wins. It's ambiguous. Anything can happen. But I want to have specificity. I want to have conciseness. I want to have precise content, and I want to have data that actually translates to dollars. Because if I have content that's translating to other things, then I'm hurting my score, I'm hurting my bounce rate, I'm hurting my business, I'm hurting my bottom line. Like, it gets to that point. You may not see that, but that's what happens. So I'm kind of giving you guys the science of it and how it really works. So before I go any further, I wanted to welcome you as well, Richard and Gary, to the room. We'll start off with you, Richard. If you have a question, please ask us. If you have a contribution, please go ahead. Thanks for being here.
Oh, my friend, no, I just want to say it's a great room, and copywriting is something that skill I don't have at a high level, but I think it's a great topic, and I appreciate all the gold nuggets. Definitely some action steps that people can take and use starting today to improve their conversion rate. So appreciate the room, and just glad to be here and learn.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Richard. Appreciate that. Gary, thanks for being here. We'd love to hear from you.
Hey, my friend. Yeah, I just want to join them, Richard, to say that I believe the information that you're sharing is very important. However, what I want to add is that as it relates to the client conversion process, there's so many moving parts to that process. I love that you're looking at the URL concept, um, but there's so many other approaches that one would have to consider as you build content and you try to position the content to reach your ideal client. But love the conversation so far.
I love that, Gary. Thank you. Yes, there are so many things that matter, and that's why I was like, if I give people this, there are over probably close to 200 factors that affect your SEO, like 200 factors, and if we start to go through those numbers, it will just get overwhelming that people stop, and that's really what happens with SEO. People just stop because they think it's too hard. They think they don't get it. But when they see it from a very easy access, from an easy perspective, it makes sense. And that's why I'm giving people from the start. Because if people can understand it from the start, then you know what to start with. If you start with titling your images, titling your files, even before you upload a YouTube video, rename that file. Don't just upload img underscore 123.mp4. That's not going to do you any good. And the worst thing that could happen to you is to get skewed data. You can get 1 million impressions, 100,000 impressions, but if those impressions are skewed, then it's wasted. It's vanity because you can't use it. It's like sand. You just can't use it, right? You can use it for something. You can build something with it. You can build a sandcastle, but you can't really build what you want to build because you didn't get the right material. So the material is the content, and that's what you're putting out for people to see. So when you create those content pieces, it allows you to connect with them at a higher level, right? Then you also have to look at your readability score. And I'll tell you guys a score. You have to aim between a 60 to 100 score. I scored a 91 on this score, right? In this title, How to Title Your Text for Success, according to Capitalize My Title, using the Flesh Kincaid readability score grading, I got a 91%. You need to aim between a 60 to 100%. So, people that have books, movies, songs, like the title makes so much sense. Like someone can change the title of a book and it can increase or decrease the number of sales of that book, like, or that email or that podcast because of the title. Titles, titles, titles. So if you have a high title that is semantically and also sentimentally valuable or within the positive side, then yes, you're going to definitely drive that logic and that emotion through the roof because you're now dealing with people. You are dealing with people. You're not dealing with bots or SEO. When people think SEO, they remove people. Yet people are the people who are clicking on the things people write. So we need to be within the same parameter to get those things, done accurately. So when you think about getting a score between 0 to 30, that score is best understood by university graduates. When you score between 60 to 70 out of 100, that's easily to be understood by 13 to 15-year-olds. Now, you want to be between 60 to 100, and you'd rather be between 90 to 100 because the interpretation of the text that you're conveying can easily be understood by an average 11-year-old student. So, pointer here is if a 5-year-old can understand your title, the better. If an 11-year-old they give you an 11-year-old because they don't want you to go too deep, right? But if an 11-year-old student can understand your title, like if I can go to an 11-year-old right now and say, hey, what would you say about how to title your text for success? They're going to think about the common words. They're going to process it. They're going to be like, okay, how to title so they're going to think about themselves. Then they'll say, okay, I would title my text for success because I want to be successful in life. Like they'll give you like a very, very nice answer, but you know the true meaning of what they're saying, right? Because they're children, they're honest, right? So when you hear that response back, you as an adult can interpret that and say, if I can make this selection of text easy to read, then I don't have to worry too much about SEO. But I have to think about SEO in the process because when I'm putting my keywords next to my common words, then these two have to make sense so that strategically they're able to build that tenacity competitively also at a high level when you're also connecting with people too. So before I go to the SEO score piece, I wanted to welcome you, Fanny. Thank you for being here. Good morning. I don't think we've had a chance to talk before, but yes, I don't know if you've heard me speak before, but we've had a chance to connect in one of the rooms. I think it was last year or the year before, but I've never had a chance to talk to you directly. So thanks for being here in the room, man. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I just want to say it's very important for folks to also index their sites on Bing, especially with the whole AI thing. When people are chatting with co-pilots, your sites could come up as one of the recommendations and that cannot happen if it's not indexed on Bing. So make sure you go to Bing Webmaster and index your stuff. And a lot of the things Favor is talking about These search consoles, like Google Search Console or Bing Webmaster, will help you identify performance issues in your site, show you competitors, also give you, for example, I just stumbled on the opportunity to monetize my site using Bing. But of course, Google also has those. So it's very important that you use that. And for my sites, I posted a link on the chat. I run a financial services firm called Waltoria, and that entire site was, if you go to the site, all the pictures, all the text, the structure, the wireframe of the site was done by AI, but this is a full stack website. So making sure I stayed on brand. All the pictures was generated with my brand colors using Midjourney. The text as well as the wireframe was generated by AI. So I'm going to post a link of the tool I used to wireframe the site. It's called Relium, and it's a really good tool if you're a web developer or you want to build web apps. So I highly recommend it. And I use Webflow to actually build the site. And Webflow allows you to, in terms of SEO, for each page, you can essentially put in your SEO tags on how you want your site to show up on the search engines. So just wanted to add that.
Thank you so much for that highlight. Yes, Bing is a good place to be. You have to be there. And I love it that Google and Bing also connected. I had a room 2 days ago on Google and Reddit doing a partnership, and Google and Bing also have that. It's not like an exclusive partnership, but when you connect your Google Search Console and then you go to Bing, you can import your Google Search Console data into Bing instead of manually creating it from Bing. So it's a good thing to know, to really think about when you're creating your content. So Ifani, I love your website, and I love that you talked about indexing, because a lot of companies don't, big companies, we worked with, large companies, small companies, and a lot of things that they didn't get to realize is that, especially for large companies, that's what I was doing for one large company, a multinational company. They have the problem with big companies is that they have a lot of web pages. And that's like, because I have to think differently when I'm working with companies, different sizes, different, see, whatever it is. They have, usually their biggest need is to make sure that their websites are understandable in different languages, especially if it's a multinational company. Their websites can be translated into different languages. And also they have to think about the number of pages that are indexed, because Google doesn't index all of your pages. That's why it's free. They only give you 1,000 rows, but there's a way to get 50,000 rows now. Thank God for SEO Gets. I got to talk to the co-founder. He's at Silicon Valley, and he's on the podcast show too, which we're yet to release. And he did a whole masterclass on, how they've been able to index into that content, but you have to pay for that platform too. So the idea is, when you are creating content, titles for success, you have to think about those things. So your sitemap has to be, checked in. So like for you, Ifani, I'm looking at your sitemap. So that tells me you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 11 um posts, 11 blogs. So from those 11 blogs, it keeps building from there. So the website, your sitemap is the brain of your website. That's why when you go to a Forbes, CNN, TMZ, whatever site, you look at their sitemap, you know that their sitemap is deep. Look at Wikipedia. They're one of the top ranking websites in the world. Why? Because they have everything under the sun, because they have links, they have resources. So the more sites links you have, the more web pages you have, the more traffic you bring. And if you turn it from manual indexing to auto indexing, meaning that Google can crawl your website, search engines can crawl your website, AI search engines can also crawl your websites, like you.com, which is powered by Bing, can power your website. Then you can end up on those search engines bigger. Even large companies just don't want to be on Google. We had to make sure that that company was available on Alexa. Like, it has to get beyond the Google sphere. So those are some things you have to think about when you think about your share of voice as a business. When people say, "Hey, I want to learn about mental health, what podcast should I listen to?" How you're going to end up as Alexa's response is based on the number of links you have semantically indexed into your content. So those things have to place contextual value so
What
that you
up?
can.
What up?
What up, my
Man,
G?
you be dropping all the gems, man. Let me drop a gem, man. Matter of fact, if you want,
Go
if
ahead.
you want Alexa specific response, then you go to Alexa skills, and then you put your own response in there. And then Alexa skills is, of course, Alexa is not AI. If y'all did not know, Alexa is a whole bunch of automations created by humans to be able to find the closest automation to what you're looking for. Right? So when we think about ChatGPT, ChatGPT has no script. Alexa, oh yeah, it's definitely a script. And the script is on the back end and it's called Alexa Skills. So as a business owner, knowing how many people use Alexa, don't we want to be found, right? So being able to submit our own information in Alexa, you go to Alexa Skills, which is a development platform, and you can technically create more than just your business automation, right? You can create your own smart house automations, but I would use smart home assistants, but that's open source and that's not part of the subject. But as far as being able to put your, even in Perplexity AI, your YouTube videos are coming up, your websites are coming up. So we got to learn how to put our information in these AIs, or what we call non AIs, which I think is AIs, right? And I like he said Bing, somebody just threw in the Bing, right? But I feel like Favor talks about all the different platforms all the time, right? And what it's really called is called reputation management, right? Across the internet, when your site is listed across multiple platforms and you keep up those platforms, that you don't just list on Bing, right? You keep up your reputation on Bing, right? And anything that is a search engine, just imagine how many people searching. Just think of a mall, right? If millions of people shop at the mall, if you're not in the mall, you're not going to be found, right? So there's plenty of places that are like digital malls, like Google, right? And Bing and Yahoo and Yelp and all these other things, right? So those are all opportunities to get in front of millions of people. I call them digital malls, right? But to be able to keep list there is one thing. Keep up your reputation, which is called reputation management, across all platforms. Is what you should be doing. Now, now Favor is giving you more of the technical part. Once you're already listed, there's all types of ways to manage. So hope we get those two terms clear. Listing and manage. I can list on Amazon all day, right? But Amazon will hit you for not even responding to the customer if they ask you a question in 24 hours. If you don't ship out the product when they buy it, that's called managing. You can list all day, anywhere, right? But are you managing where you're listing? And that managing actually means evolving. For those that like, man, I got to do work. No, you got to keep pushing forward. So yeah, I just wanted to add that 2 cent. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Hey, man, you just dropped it right before we close the room in 2 minutes. You just came through. Thank you. You always do that. Towards the
You
end,
said
I
you
knew
always do
D's was
that.
going to say something. It's classic. I love it. I love it so much. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, so this is how things roll, guys. There's so much to cover, and use this to your best advantage so you can actually connect with people. Minnie, wanted to give you a chance to speak before we wrap up. Would love to hear your thoughts. Anything you'd like to say? Welcome to the room.
Yeah, so I wanted to chime in on what Dee just mentioned that um you can do pretty much I created a couple of, well, I haven't, they're not published, but I'm working on a Alexa skill, and um it is so cool to know that as a business owner, right? You can have essentially your brain in Alexa, right? For someone else to use. And so I just would implore people to take advantage of that, right? I know that with Google, I I I don't know. I don't think, well, maybe you can. I just don't know how to do it with Google, but I do know that with Alexa, people are starting to create their own skills. Like I have several friends who have their own Alexa skills now. So I would take advantage of it because as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, um, we should be able to be everywhere, and that does not, and not just online, but also, in um, these other devices as well. So that's what I wanted to share, and I'm done speaking.
Thank you,
Yep,
Minnie.
it's called Google Assistance. Google Assistance I mean, Google Assistance for developers. If you Google it, you'll find the Google page as well. And I would suggest, instead of just saying, hey, this is my business, and then this is what I do, I say, hey, go to ChatGPT and put that explanation in Alexa and Google so that you have more extensive um, services, products, and descriptions so they can, query, like Minnie said, your business brain from wherever they are currently.
Exactly. No, this is definitely dope. Thank you so much, y'all. This has been amazing. I couldn't have done this without you guys. I've been having this, connect. I've just been doing this over and over and over again, just trying to let a lot of people know how this works and, what the goal is, why we're doing this, who we're doing this for, when we're doing these things. And if we're doing them correctly, then we can always win. That's the goal. We have to win online. If you don't win online, somebody else is, and if that person is, it's probably your competitor. That's just a fact. If it's not you, it's your competitor. So how are you going to stand your competition and outlive or outlast your competition? It just doesn't fall into the title. I just didn't even talk about body text, context. I just talked about the title, and the title in itself is already a problem. So if you can solve that problem fast and connect with people faster, then you're able to get people into those things too. So thank you so much for listening. And there are power words as well. Let me just wrap this up really quickly. There are power words because we talked about common words too. There are power words, and there are two power words here in this headline, right? The two power words are your success. So if I said how to title your text for businesses, you guys would be like, okay, if I said the reason why success is there is because there's a semantic value, right? That semantic value is a sentimental attribute to the emotional connection you're creating to get a click that requires less brain power. So when you have an emotional word with a positive sentiment in the headline, it shows the increase in the value of the headline so that people can click through to that headline and connect with you further. So when you start to create those intentions around the people that you're connecting with, then you start to see that resemblance over time. So think about your powers, think about your common words, think about your stop words. Like it sounds like a lot of words, but these words is what's going to get you above your competition over time. So you have to think about your readability score, think about those things. So for me, just to give you the score so that you guys know what I'm talking about, I had a readability score of 89. I had an SEO score of 69, and I had a sentiment score of 70, and my average overall headline score is 75. And you need to be between that 60 plus or 70 plus to be on the easier side. So if you're getting green, green, green on all three, then that's going to be a good thing because this title, if this title shows up on Google, if this title shows up on a podcast, if this title shows up on in Clubhouse again, you will always see people in the room. You will always see people coming. So if you have your business replace what I'm saying, like how to replace title your text and replace it with your business and then success. So if you sell waist beads or if you sell, you know, clothing material, if you sell candles, right? How to, make your room smell like paradise, like how to create, a lovely, like how to heighten your senses without candles, like use things that have emotional connection. Nike, Coca-Cola, all of these companies, yes, they're selling shoes, they're selling, bottles, but they're really selling emotional value. They're selling you happiness, they're selling you freedom, they're selling you power. So when you think about what your business is selling beyond the product, then the titles will conduct the product and that will conduct the community that you bring into your circle, into your ecosystem. So I hope this helped you guys and I
I
hope you
like
learned
that.
something.
Digital
Yeah.
freedom.
Uh-huh. Exactly. You know, we got to take it back. If we don't, then somebody else will. So that's why I've been doing these rooms consistently. Consistently. So as we're here right now, please make sure if you want to get on a call with me, 15-minute call to get in touch with me. Let's talk. Let's talk business. Click the link above. If you want to really, really get into this and get it done for your business, reach out to me. And then there's a podcast link I put in the chat. That link is going to take you to the podcast where you're able to listen to podcasts. I've had rooms every day, Monday through, sorry, not Monday, Sunday through Saturday. So it's been a whole 7-day cycle because I'm doing a 12-day, 3 more days to being 5 years on the podcast. I'm going to do a 5-hour room on Clubhouse. I'm going to schedule it today so people can check it out, because I got to know that people do listen to the chat bubbles. Someone was telling me that. I was like, oh, you guys are listening. So I was like, I'll keep doing it because I don't want to make you guys miss out, especially Clubhouse has changed. You know, you can't really access replays like that. So I use the bubbles to make sure, or the chats, you know, to make sure that you have access to those links. So we will be here on Monday. I'm technically going to look at my schedule, see how we can do it, but I definitely will, I'm going to make sure we have a 5-hour segment. We're gonna do it either before break, or I don't know. We'll see how we're gonna plan it out, but something's gonna happen here on Monday as well. So I appreciate you for being here, Julie. Thank you for being here, Liverpool. Andrea, we love to hear from you, Andrea. I know you we haven't heard from you fully, so wanted to just give you some time to speak before we wrap up.
I have nothing to say. I'm at work. Sorry.
No problem. It's good to hear you. No worries. Thank you for being here. D, appreciate you as always. Richard, Gary, Minnie. By the way, D again, congratulations to you. So my priority right now is, once I'm done with this room, I've seen your message, so I will get on call with you. I'll get in touch with you, send you the email, and hope you enjoy that trip. You know, wherever you go, take that trip. You deserve it. You know, enjoy it and live it up. We'll get into the holiday season, so you can add one more trip to your trip. If you had trips planned, you can add another one, or you can save it for another day, depending on how you want to use it. That's all on you, but I appreciate you for being here and participating in the game we had today. I think I'll do more games on Clubhouse like that, which is very striking, but it's also very rewarding too as well. Did you want to say something, Andrea?
Yeah, actually, I just want to say, I didn't realize I never added back Mr. D Hudson. Just to let you know, I've added you back today, and I've followed you back. No, I've followed you on Instagram as well. And thank you for the information. I'm like writing things down. I'm writing things down and trying to do work. But yeah, so I am paying attention, but I'm trying to multitask with work and what's going on in the room.
No worries.
Definitely, definitely.
You
Appreciate the
already
room,
know.
favor. Appreciate the room. Keep on the consistency. You've been doing the SEO for a long time. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, man. As a developer, though, the the SEO is always like that. That work that, like, dang, the customer didn't pay for this, so let me refer them, or let me tell you these upsells, right? But I think doing SEO one time is never a thing, though. Never a thing. So just keep that all in your mind. So
Thank you so much. Yeah, SEO is not a one done thing. It's like you don't brush your teeth once a year. Like you have
ah,
to.
that's funny.
You know what I'm saying? Now I like to give examples so that people can really see the value. You see, everybody's laughing. You see, it's the truth. Because hey, we have to tell you the truth. People say, "Oh yeah, just SEO." Yeah, that SEO is probably 2 years old, 2 seconds old. You know, so you have to think about your SEO. A lot of businesses don't, and when they don't, mm, yeah. So we just hope that you're able to look at it, and
They,
iPhone
they
16
pay
is
for
coming
ads
in.
until they run it. They pay for ads until their money run out, and then they're like,
They
"What's going?
do.
We don't know what's going on."
You know what I'm saying? They're burning money and they're paying it on Google competitively on YouTube. Yeah, run ads there, but why not run ads on Pinterest? Why not run ads on Reddit? Why not run ads to your website
Because
using,
they don't have SEO to
stuff?
make people actually stick.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Exactly. If you're paying, let me just say it like this. If you're gonna pay to play, then pay with your time first. Meaning, write articles for the platform you're gonna spend money on. So if you're gonna spend money on YouTube, spend money on Google, Spend time there. Put posts there. Update your content. Put relative content. Put content that people can actually read, they can actually connect with, they can actually learn from. And then when you now take that same domain that you're paying for every year to the same domain you're going to pay through, then you pay less because you spent more time with them organically before you spent a dime on the platform. But to each his own. But our clients, we tell you, don't even spend a dollar or a cent. If you've not had any influence online, you might do that for testing, which is great. We can do some A/B testing to get some data analysis, get some scores, but you're not going to run a whole campaign when you don't even have a link ranking, or you have any type of direct, root directory or file directory or listing directory of your business, either a brick and mortar or an online store, online somewhere that someone can type a non-branded keyword that doesn't have your name, your brand name included, and still find you as a resource. That tells someone that you have topical authority and page authority. If you don't have those two types of authority, then you will show up on Google. So those are things that you have to look at, and it boils down to your title, your text, your context, everything in between the text. So even how you space your lines, you don't just write blocks of text, because if the readability is low, it means if someone sees a huge block of text, their eyes are going to hurt. But if I see that same 10 lines broken into 10 words, or sorry, 10 lines of text, then it's going to be easy for me to read, because people don't read, people scan. That's a 101 marketing that we should all know. People scan. So the more people scan, the faster they're able to read. If I change this words, copywriting tone, how to title your text for success, and I jumble up the words like a Scrabble, you would still read that text. I'm probably going to do that one day and see how the room happens. Jumble up the words, the vowels and the consonants, jumble up those words, and then see if you will still read the text and understand what I'm saying without even reading through the text. Because you're going to scan through it. You're going to know, okay, the Y-O-U-R is now Y-U-O-R. You're going to still read as your, because your brain already tells you your, because you thought about the first letter and the last letter. So when you look at the letters in between, you scan them. I don't want to go too much into psychology, but marketing is big when you think big. Even increasing your emails, when you look at your font size, if you increase it from 12, 14 to about 16, 18, you also have an increase in your conversion rates, because people are reading with different screens. So the bigger the text, the bigger the screen, the faster someone understands, the less time it takes for them to read through the text. If somebody is squinting to see, squinting to read, they have to zoom to read. That's more time invested in activity, energy wise, that they could have spent reading without having to move a finger. So you have to think about these parameters as a business, so that you can learn from your communities, and that's what's going to take you up there. So, yeah, I'm done for the TED Talk for Friday. It's a Friday. I want y'all to have a great day, a blessed day. But at the same time, I want you guys to come back on Monday and enjoy this. I'll be here probably tomorrow and Sunday. We'll see what rooms I'll do, because I do SEO Sundays now. It's usually in the evening. So I'll see if I do one this week. But make sure you follow the marketing club. We're 349,000 members in this house. So we are a lot of people in here. I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see you, Derek, Eric, that's dope. Empress, Shay, David, Kamen, Federica, Carolyn, thank you for being here. Snoopy, Trap Boss, Ari, LSL, Padma, Lasser, and Leslie. I appreciate you all. For those who have a ticket, please click the link above, so that at the very, 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 very top, we see Marketing Club. If you have a ticket, cash it in, join the club. We're almost 350K here. I'm predicting 350K before the end of the year. So I'm really pushing it, but I'm sure it's going to happen the next month or two. But who knows? You never know. So I just like to put benchmarks and beat the deadline. This is one thing. If you've not heard anything from me, this is the one thing that I want you to hear. Under promise, over deliver. And I'll end with that. Have a blessed day, y'all. Thank you again. I see you, Snoopy. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Really appreciate it. Anytime. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you guys learned something, because I'm here to help. If you guys want to get more additional time with me to get on board, to work with my team, Click the link above, save this replay so you can get on a call. We can actually have a schedule, get you in business. We show you our packages, we show you how we work, and then we work together and we make life a better place for you. And then from there, we can see how you do in the next 3 months competitively. See y'all.